Hey everybody. It's been a little while since I've done a video. Just been working on myself a lot, doing some workouts, some new workouts. I decided I'm going to do a triathlon at the end of August, so that should be interesting. Um, the main focus of this video is going to be in about a week. I've got the provisional court date, and that is for um, not, I don't want to say emergency, but sort of a preliminary judgments for my divorce case with custody until mediation and things like that can get passed along later, which could take a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. I know some people right now that are in their fourth month, just waiting. So hopefully it'll get done, but um, because of some of the issues that I mentioned in some of my other videos, I'm asking for full custody of my 11-year-old. Um, and I know that's odd for a dad. Sorry, I'm going to fix this real quick. It's different for a dad to try to do that. And if you watch some of my other videos, then you'll know what my circumstances are with my wife, soon to be ex-wife, and why I'm asking for custody. I think it's in the best interest of him. And I don't want to take anything from her um, necessarily or unnecessarily, I guess I should say. The point is to make sure that he's safe. I tried to do that before we went to court, and there were some stipulations that I put in that she disagreed with, and I get it. I I think that when we go to court, it's going to end up worse for her than it would have if she would have just taken what I kind of offered earlier. I know she feels like I'm upset about the money thing, but it's halvesies. Like, yes, I don't necessarily feel that it was an even contribution over the years, but I get it. I understand it. It is what it is, and that's what she gets. So that's I'm not mad about it. You know what I mean? A lot of people get mad about it. Oh, she'll take you for half. Well, yeah, that's pretty standard stuff. I mean, there were quite a few things that I had pre-marriage that I can claim as. Sorry about the weird camera here. It's acting a fool. I'll try to stay more still so it won't wobble so much. But yeah, so that's I really don't have anything to do with my what with this judgment. This preliminary judgment is to sorry provisional judgment is to set up his schooling for the next year because I don't know what I don't know how long it's going to take, and it could easily take another month. And we need to have to make sure this is locked in with his. This is driving me nuts. Yeah, get it to stop. Oh, still screwy. Woo! There we go. Let's do let's do this. Maybe it'll stay still now. Okay. So so I want to get his schooling locked in. The ex still hasn't really found a place to live. She said she was going to live with her dad. Then she said she was going to for a while until she found an apartment. Now she's, uh, as far as I know, from what I've been told and what I understand, she's not looking for an apartment or something on her own. She's looking for it with her new boyfriend, which started about days after she decided she wanted a divorce. So that was probably set up beforehand. Surprise, surprise. I love you. I love you. I love you. I don't anymore. That's beautiful. Everybody loves that, being lied to for who knows how long, until the last minute, until they get everything set up for their next monkey branching. But regardless, so I have this provisional case coming up, and I'm asking for full custody, and it's different for men to do that normally. Um, I realize that while she already had a plan and a person to go to before this happened, I did not, and I'm still hurting, and I still love her, and I still miss her, and I still wish we could make things work, even though I know it's probably I shouldn't. You know what I mean? And that's fine. People are telling me I dodged a bullet, and I'm why be with somebody who chose somebody else? Why be with somebody who lies to you over the years? Why be with somebody who cheated on you? Why be with somebody who stole from you? You know, who always finds fault in almost all of your friends, all of sometimes even her own friends. Anyway, so I realized that asking for full custody is going to make it much harder for me to find another person. It's going to be hard for me to go out on dates and things like that. That's that's going to be the tough part. Obviously, the ex will still have him plenty of visitation. I'm not trying to take away all visitation or anything like that. That's not a thing. I'm not like I'm mad at her, but I'm more mad that she lied to me and about loving me, not about anything to do with our children. You know, so still their she's still their mom. You know, well, the one the oldest one moved out. This is my first full week of me just being alone in a huge house. So that sucks, but I'm dealing with it. I haven't cried in about a week, so that's nice. Although my little one, he thought I was going to the other day in the car, and he grabbed my hand and held it up to his face. Real, you know, it was beautiful. And he said, you know, Daddy, it's okay if you want to cry. I understand. And I was like, well, thank you. You know, I didn't plan on it, but what I was talking about was I was talking about I moved some of her stuff to the garage, and it's very hot this week where we live, and across most of the United States, I think it's really hot. And I didn't want the stuff in the garage to be damaged. And he says, "Well, who cares? It's not our stuff." And I said, "Well, buddy, I'm still a good person. And I don't want to hurt your mom for no good reason. So I don't want her stuff to be damaged out there. And some of it might have, you know, aerosols. You know, there's some bathroom stuff in there, or some clothing that could stuff that could be damaged, and I didn't want that to happen. But I never ended up going out there and looking. I did bring a television in because that was expensive, but all the little stuff, I mean, I'm not going to go pick through it all. I'm just not. It's been in there for a month now, you know, and while she's going with her boyfriend, so why is it my problem anymore, you know? So anyway, back to the provisional hearing. I know I'm going to have less free time with full custody. If I get full custody, I very well might, and I hope that I do, because from what I understand, in most cases, if you get provisional custody early on, they aren't likely to change it later when the final judgment and things come around, because they made the decision for a reason. Then basically the other person who wants it different needs to prove otherwise, and she's really not going to be able to. She's not acting rationally lately. She's not. Um, she has all kinds of medication issues. She's got all of her mental issues, that and things that have happened over the last couple of years. Well, hell, 15, 20 years. So there's a lot there that it can't be. It's not going to look good. And then some stuff where he called me in the middle of the night, upset, and wanted me to come pick him up already. And I get that. That happens. It happens to a lot of people. And you want to help the kid. You want to help your child, but you can't always. You just it's the court. You know what I mean? That's mom's time, or that's dad's time, and they get that time, and it's up to them to manage that child, even if the child's pissed at them. There are going to be times that he's going to be pissed at me. I get it. I understand. Um, and I'm going to have to handle that. You know, he's already told me that I've acted calmer with him and better with him, and I have. And I said, buddy, I know it seems like that, and I know, but I think a lot of part of that is with this huge, you know, stab to my heart. I had to reevaluate my whole life. You know, my whole the life that I've built, not, you know, my childhood or anything like that. So that's going to make me kind of lighten up a bit. You know, there's some things that I probably did in the past that I regret, and I regret them more now. And that happens, you know. But anyway, back to the provisional. I'm gonna have less time to go out, less time to meet people. Although there will be people to help watch my son, and he's happy with him. And he's almost a teen now. He's a preteen, but he's almost teen. So he can. I mean, he can stay home by himself. He stays home when he's here for a half an hour, and I'll go out running. I've allowed him to stay home for an hour and a half. so that he wouldn't have to get up. It's summer right now, so he didn't have to get up early in the morning. I had to go to work. My mom picked him up to take him somewhere at 10 o'clock in the morning. So I was like, yeah, you can hang out for 2 hours. You'll be fine. All he did was play video games and eat breakfast. He's fine for a couple hours. So that he can do that. I mean, and he's to the point, in a couple of years where I could leave him on a Friday night and go out on a date, and he would be okay. So that's not a problem coming up. I think it's a little bit of a problem now. He takes a little extra work because he has some of his own things that he requires. So I'm going to have to take more paid time off at work because of doctor's appointments, things like that. A lot of places will allow you to flex your time, and I can do that. They're pretty good. I'm lucky with that situation. I can go in at 7 instead of 8, work through lunch, and leave 2 hours early. Or so that helps a lot. They're very understanding where I work, so that helps. Um, I also have to put more time into working with this other parent to help explain things that happen. If I'm the main, if he lives with me, you know, 7 out of every 9 days, what have you, then there's going to be a lot that I'm going to have to jot down and explain to the other parent. So that's going to be something that will also need to be done, depending on how that split ends up working. I think he would be best living with me because she's actually moving. Well, first of all, he doesn't want to move in. My son does not want to move in with her and this new boyfriend. He says he's nice enough, but he doesn't know the guy. And to be honest with you, if you've seen one of my other videos, anybody who would get into a relationship with somebody before they've even talked to their significant other about divorce is not a good person. And my son knows that. He knows that that's not a thing that normal, healthy relationships start with. You know what I mean? That's not what normal, healthy, mentally healthy people do. Um, so he sees that he's picked things up on his own. I haven't had to tell him a lot. He's smart. He's very smart. Uh, he and my older son, who's 20 to 20 something now, they're not happy about the situation. They're not happy how she treated me. They're not happy with her. They both want to distance themselves from her, and that makes me sad. But it also makes me feel good about the part that I played in raising them and what is the moral and right thing to do. You know what I mean? Especially with other people, especially with the people that you care about the most. I mean, she's still, my ex still is the most, the most, she was the most important thing in my entire life. Like everything was built around it, even around the kid, with the kids and stuff like that. And then it's just to rip your heart out. It's like, how do you deal with that? It's going to take me years, and I'm good. I got a lot of friends now. I'm finding new people. I'm actually getting a lot of interest from women now, and that's interesting. You know what I mean? I didn't have it. I guess I did. If you see it, a lot of men might see this over the years. It's like when you're single, nobody's interested. When you're taken, you have that confidence that you don't have when you're single sometimes, and women see that confidence and they're drawn to that. That's why women are drawn to people who are married already or in a relationship, and it sucks, but that's how it is. So, but now I've kind of, as a little bit older man now, I have some of that confidence left over, even though I just got shit on, uh, damaged. You know what I mean? I still have that confidence, and people, women are seeing that now. Even some other men are seeing that, and they're being drawn to me, and I like it. I'm not saying I'm going to go out and get crazy and date everybody I see, but I mean, I've had a few offers, and I've had a couple of women who said, I like you. You're very handsome, and we've talked for a while, but you're not divorced yet, and I don't want to I don't want to date someone who's not divorced. And I said, I totally get that. That makes 1,000% sense. I totally get it. I'll be around. We can chat. Um, you know, and that's fine. I get it. I'll be here. I'm going to keep working on myself. I need to work on myself on my being alone before I, work on dating again. And I mean, like yesterday or the day before, I think I said I'm not dating yet. I kind of went on one yesterday. So, but it was a very small, very short one, very more of a friendly thing. Um, but it made me feel good. It was more for me and this other girl to kind of just get used to being out in social situations again, and that was nice. It's funny that I call her a girl. It's just a weird habit in our brain. She's actually a year older than me, but it's funny. So yeah, so I still have a lot. I do still have a lot of sadness and regret for the things that I think that I could have done better in a marriage. However, I think a lot of that is it's just because of the things that we built over the years. You know what I mean? It's a regret of losing the things that I had, the future that I had planned. It's regret over losing the person that was there through like the birth of my child. This is more of a new thing I think over the last 20 or 30 years, but I was in there holding her hand, while she was having the baby, like. And if you've seen that and you see everything that comes out of there and stuff, it changes your life. It's messy, it's hard, it's amazing at the same time. It's all those things, and to be there, and I feel like that puts such a connection between her and I that would never go away. It did. It can. There's absolutely nothing that can stop somebody being unhappy. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the 100 things that you did if the 10 things you did wrong are more important to that other person. It is what it is. So yeah, I'm gonna have regret for a long time. I'm gonna have sadness for a long time, but I'm also gonna move on. Like I said, I decided I'm gonna try to run a mini triathlon. I believe I mentioned that earlier. I'm going to at the end of August, so I've got some training to do. I'm not starting from scratch. I've been a swimmer my whole life. I've been a runner. I don't do a lot of biking because I'm a big guy. I'm 6'5" and around 200 pounds now. So biking's never been fun for me. Just, I don't know, my balance, my size, something. So, but I'm going to do that, and I'm going to. This last weekend, my youngest son and I, we did an obstacle course, 3 miles and about 15, 16 obstacles. And I didn't think he could do it, honestly. I swear. And he did it, and he busted his ass, and he did things that I didn't know he could ever do. And it made me so proud of him. And we had such a good time. And he was exhausted, and he was this close to giving up, and he didn't. And he finished it. And at the end, the last obstacle was like a slip and slide down a hill where they were shooting fire hoses on water on it. It was awesome. We were all muddy because we had climbed through some stuff, and they hosed us off with a fire hose. And then uh, they didn't have any places to change, which really kind of sucked. And I'm going to mention that to them for next time. Like, give us a tent or something. I'm not changing a porta potty. Sorry. But so we ran immediately to the game store downtown because he wanted to also play Dungeons and Dragons. I mentioned that in another one of my videos. We like playing Dungeons and Dragons, and we'd have a good time together. So we rushed to the game store and ran to the bathroom and changed our clothes and came out and started the game of D&D and played that for like 3.5 hours. And by the end of that, he was done. He was exhausted, but it was such a great day. And then the next day, Sunday, we went to the Renaissance Fair, which was about an hour and a half away. We only stayed for about 2 hours because, as I said, it was super hot this weekend. Well, past weekend and today, and it's going to be all week. Um, but it was amazing, and his older brother went, and so it was the three of us guys, and we went, and it was amazing. And I would have loved to have had my wife there, my soon-to-be ex-wife. I would have loved to have had her there. She may not have loved every bit of that. She definitely wouldn't have done the obstacle course. Wouldn't have. Nope, not happening. That's not her thing. Exercise was never her thing. And I think that hurt us. I think we probably jumped in a little early without having enough in common. And that's something I'm looking for in a new person. I need to make a list of things that I'm looking for in a person. And of course, one of those is going to call me an asshole. Is going to be not having mental issues, because I can't do that again. I can't learn a whole new person, you know. Um, I still know about my wife slash ex wife. I know about her things, and I wish she would change her mind and we could work on things, and I could do the things that I'm supposed to do better, and but I'm not sure that she could fix the things that she did wrong, and I think that's part of why it's never going to happen. She knew once she made this decision that there was no going back this time, because this is the second time that she's done it, and it sucks, you know. But like I said, I'm gonna find a better life, I think, and I definitely do. I'm not one of those people who will be okay being alone. I mean, I could. That was my one of my things. I'm a secure attachment person. I can be alone. I just don't want to. I don't enjoy. I'm not going to get the best joy out of life without sharing it with someone. That's that's what I want. You know what I mean? Even if that's my kids. Yeah, you know, you love sharing. Oh, these are the things that I did with when I was growing up, and you want to do that with your kids. You can do the same thing, and you should do the same thing with your significant other. And but you, it doesn't help if your significant other isn't interested in the things that you did. You know, or looks at them. You know, we grew up different places, different, almost 10 years apart. My ex and I, and there were things that I would tell stories about from the 90s, and she would just be like, "That's stupid. Why would you do that?" Or like, "I don't fucking know. It was fun. It was fun." You know what I mean? It was fun because it was stupid. It was fun because it was dangerous. It was fun. You know what I mean? Kids don't do that anymore. They do stupid shit that's dangerous, like a lot of these challenges and stuff. You know, oh, let me stick a firecracker in my butt and light it. Ah, it's funny, but you know, I don't know. That's personal preference. I'm digressing, I guess now. So yeah, I still feel like I should offer one more time to work things out again, but I don't think I don't think I'm going to. And I'm sure you guys, if anybody gets this far into this video, please comment if you'd like. Tell me what you think. If you've watched, obviously, if you haven't watched my other videos, then you're not going to have that much to go on. But I, you're almost everybody is probably going to say don't, don't do it. There's a better option for you out there. It just sucks that it feels like it's like I wasted time, but I didn't waste time. I have all these memories that I cherish, even though I borderline hate the person for destroying them for me. And now, because now these memories hurt, which fucking sucks. You know, these were the pictures on the wall. You know, me and my ex at Chichen Itza down in Mexico. It was rough to get there. You know, 3.5 hour bus ride from Cancun and all that, and we had troubles, but it just the time that was the last time that I felt happy. My therapist asked me that, when was the last time that you felt at peace and happy when you were with your wife? And I said it was when we were in Mexico. When on the exact place was when we were sitting on the beach, and my son was playing in the water on the beach, and my wife and I were just sitting there. We both had drinks in our hand, you know, light. We weren't drunk. We had drinks in our hand. We were sitting there beside each other, and this breeze was coming in, and the amazing water and sand and everything, and we could hold hands and just relax. And that was the last time I was at peace, you know, and happy. Not happy. They were definitely happy, but all those, like the whole shebang together. And you know, the sad part is that was like 2 or 3 years ago. So that can probably tell you a lot. So yeah, my last thing on my list. I already talked about dating a little bit. I have some female friends. A lot of them are stepping up and wanting to be friendly with me. I'm trying not to be more than friends right now, and I know that's hard. And the one I kind of went out with yesterday, this is a little tough one here, and obviously everybody's different. I can't nail one woman with every, you know, trope, but she she was taught, we mostly we bitched about our exes, you know, or talked about what we did wrong, what they did wrong, that kind of thing. So it's hard to start a relationship when you're just friends and you're bitching about your exes, you know. But she she kind of asked me about my love language, and I thought, uh oh, and we kind of, ours matched, um, which I was like, that's okay, that's. not sure how that's going to work out. If we if we both clicked into the same thing and we didn't want to be more than friends, it could be hard to not be. so so I have to take that really slow. I have to take that really and make sure that, look, if we fall into it, we fall into it. But right now, we're both just trying to work through our divorces. So yeah, but yeah, we're both technically still married, but we're also technically not dating. I had a couple others that said that they would date somebody who's married. I have one who I might actually ask out for this weekend. I've never dealt with multiple ladies at the same time before. Most of the time growing up, I would get with one girl. I would date her for, oh hell, when you're in high school, it could be 2 weeks, could have been 6 months, and then if it wasn't working out, one of you would dump the other one. I tried to be very nice about it. I always was. I was always very nice about it. I tried, but I've never dealt with, okay, I'm kind of dating this girl. I'm dating this one. I'm dating and going on a date is different. You know what I mean? It's something I haven't dealt with before. Um, I'm realizing, and what I said this in one of my other small videos, I'm realizing I'm kind of a high value person. I do have a child, and he's with me half the time, possibly full time at some point. But I'm athletic. I'm driven. I make a good living. I'm a really decent person. Um, and most of them know me and know that this marriage failure was probably not me. And obviously, they don't know that, but I try to explain a little bit. And obviously, everybody's going to tell you that they're not the bad guy. I get it. I'm guilty as well. Uh, but I'm not the bad guy. All right, this video is getting way too long. Nobody's probably going to watch it. I hope people start watching my latest videos. They have not, and that's fine. Interestingly, most of the people watch the intro video and then don't really watch much after that. I'm getting a lot of hits from these shorts. I can keep doing shorts. I'm fine with that. I think a lot of people like to watch them when they're sitting in a doctor's office and they can watch them with their sound turned off. So I've made sure I've done closed captions at the bottom. If anybody wants to hear me talk about anything specific about my process here, or if I have thoughts on your process, if you watch some of my other videos and you may be starting a relationship with somebody who has bipolar or BPD or PTSD or ADHD or any combination thereof, even psychosis, I've had experience in that. I have, and while my ex will swear that I never learned her things, I absolutely did learn those things. Sometimes, just like with call me an asshole. This is a bad example, but sometimes, like with a child, it's you have to say, well, it's you still have to say, I understand what you're saying, but I still disagree, and that's really hard to tell someone that you love that what they're feeling isn't real, and that it really sucks. Um, and sometimes they will know that what they're feeling isn't real, but they still feel it. That's that's what's going to cause the most trouble in a lot of those situations. So anyway, I'll let everybody go here. Hope somebody watches this. If you want to hear more, like, subscribe, give me some comments. I will talk about whatever anybody wants me to talk about. I'll make shorts if you want. If you see something that somebody else is doing out there, some shorts, some informational things, let me know. I'll try it. All right. Have a good day, everybody.